Hey there, my name is Ali. Welcome to the Photoshop beginner course. Okay, today we're gonna discuss the gradients and the paint bucket tool. The shortcut is gonna be G for the gradient tool. But let's say, for example, you pressed F instead of G and you got that some sort of like a look and you want it to be back. So this F works as a full screen. So if you press it again, you get a full screen. You press it again, you get like to the back normal view. It's 3 steps. The same is for tab. If you press tab, tab is the button above of caps lock. If you press tab, you will get that different view. Just press it again so you get back to your normal view. Okay, so let's go to the paint bucket tool. It's in G. If you press right click, you'll see a lot of options. The third one, we're not gonna like discuss it at all. It's useless. We're gonna discuss first the paint bucket tool. The paint bucket tool is exactly the same as, I believe, the magic wand tool. If you remember in the selection, we discussed the magic wand tool. Let's say we have a tolerance of 25. Let's say we click here on the moon and we press Alt backspace to color. Okay, then Control D. This is what happened when we did that. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let's go to the gradient tool. Make the tolerance 25 and just color in the same area. You see what happened? It's exactly the same as making a selection and then coloring. You have the tolerance, but the only difference here, maybe you can color with opacity, so you can lower the opacity and you can just color with a lower opacity. But using the magic wand, you could just select here, make a new layer, press Alt backspace, and then Control D to get rid of the selection, and then lower the opacity. So I'm gonna press delete on this one. So I don't recommend, I'm working with Photoshop for 4 or 5 years. I never used the paint bucket tool. And it's like G is for gradient. The paint bucket tool is not useful. Let's go to the gradient. This one is really important. If you see here, we have like several tools, 5 shapes actually. We have the mood. This one will leave it to normal. The opacity is like the strength of the gradient, if you want it to be like very strong or very weak. And then we have some other options. We're gonna discuss the reverse, the dither, and the transparency. Just make sure the dither and the transparency are clicked on. Okay, the first one is, we're gonna discuss these first two. The first one is called foreground to background. The second one is called foreground to transparent. Let's start with the first one. Foreground to background means the foreground color to the background color. So if we have here this cyan and here we have some sort of maybe like a green, and using the gradient we have several options. We'll start with the first one. If we pull it like that, you see what happens? It starts from cyan to green. Control Z. Let's say I make a very small pull. The difference will be very small. A very tiny pull will make it almost completely sharp. However, if I pull it like from the beginning to the end, it will be completely like faded, the line in the middle. The next one is a circle gradient. So if I pull, it will go like from the blue or cyan to the green. However, remember the reverse button. If I do the reverse and I do it, it will give you the opposite. So the reverse button, if you look here, the reverse button will just give you the reverse of everything. Then we have the third type of gradient. It's like I don't know, it's called radial or deflected angle gradient. And then we have this one. This one is actually useful. It creates like some sort of like a line of the first color and then the other color at the top. And the last one is the diamond. I don't think we're gonna ever use it, but it's okay. Okay, this one is not really important like the second one, which is the foreground to transparent. You must have the transparency on to use this one. Make sure it's on. So let's go to the first one and let's take the color black. Foreground to transparent means it will start with the foreground color and then it will go to transparent. So now we have black. First, let me explain it on a completely empty thing. If I pull, you see what happens? It adds black and it keeps fading to transparent. Okay, how we're gonna use this? For example, I want to create a vignette around my photo. Vignette is like some sort of a black at the edges. So if I pull from here, I added some black. If I pull from here, some black, some black, some black. I can reduce the opacity and do it. It will be like much weaker. So this is how we can use it. But then we can get like creative with it. We can go to the circle one. You see what the circle one does? It creates some sort of a black like circle in a place. But if you do the reverse and you draw from the middle, it will do the opposite. It will leave the middle circle and it will add black to like the rest of the thing. And then we have this one, not gonna be like really useful. This one is actually useful. I used it before in like skies. If you wanna make like a gradient of color, I use something like, let's say, on a new layer, a white layer. Let's say I have something like that. Okay, it's on reverse, so that's why it made the opposite. Let's close the reverse. Let's make sure it's 100%. If I make something like that, I have yellow. Then I can go like to orange. Then I can go to more orange. Then reddish orange. Then like complete red. Then magenta. And like purple. Blue. Stronger blue. Then cyan. Okay, for example, I can add this if I like lower the opacity, you see. I use it like sometimes to color the sky. It's gonna be useful. I'll show you like in advanced tutorials. You can watch my advanced tutorials and see how I use that to color the sky. Okay. And the last one is that one, the diamond. You can like draw some sort of a diamond. It can be actually good if you draw it some sort of here and maybe change it to screen. We will go like, oh, sorry. We have to make it on a new layer and change it to screen. This is a little bit advanced. We will go through all this like later on, but this can like be useful. You can add like some sort of like lens flare using it. Okay, that's it for the gradient tool. Thank you for watching this tutorial.